All right, so this is how the classroom is. When you log in, you're actually already sitting down, whatever seat is available. Obviously, you're not going to be sitting in the same spot that someone else is already at. You can move around with your directional keys or WASD. You can move with a controller, like I said. You can move with a VR headset. You jump with spacebar, and shift is how you run. Now, when Jess is teaching the class or whatever coach we have, they're standing here and they're sharing their screen. You see, I like how they got the little Windows PC thing right there. They're sharing their screen here and they're facing the class there. And they can share whatever, and it'll pop up on this big screen. And then you can interact with the chat. You can hear my voice if I was off mute. You can interact with the chat. So if someone has a question about something they said, like, how do I, whatever, it'll come up right there. You could emote in this. It's easier on the iPad and the iPhone, or whatever application, because it's like always an option down at the bottom, but you can wave, you can turn up, turn butter, you can clap if you really like it, and then you can do emotes. And this is what we suggest people do so that we know they're engaged in the content. Now, I don't know what I just did, but yeah, so this is the classroom. Now, when I was in the class, and if I got footage of this, I'll show it in the video, but when I was in the class, I saw somebody like just run past Jessica while she was coaching, and this is all I saw. They just yeeted. Now, from my perspective, I didn't know this was even, I didn't know this was over here. All I saw from sitting down at that angle was somebody just jumping over the balcony, and it was hilarious. So it makes the class fun, it makes it interactive. And this is why we partner with Plutonic, because they're a mental health company, and I learned this concept from them, and now we partner together to teach these concepts, getting over mental health and the job anxiety or the entrepreneur anxiety. And this is how the classroom is set up, and we also have a real example of how Jess's class was.
All right. So, one of the last and final tips that I have for you is to practice. So, practicing helps us just build confidence in what we're talking about, how we feel about the things that we're saying, and it helps us get feedback from not only ourselves, but from other people in the way that we're performing or acting or reacting to our situation. So, a lot of times people don't feel confident talking about themselves for a numerous amounts of reasons, but if you don't feel confident talking about yourself, one of the great tools that we have is to practice. So, my advice to you is connect with your top supporters, people that are going to be there to root you on during the process, that will are willing to spend some time with you to do such things as mock interviews. They can actually practice questions. You all can build questions related to the job description, and they can provide real-time feedback in regards to your answers, how you appear, especially if you're doing a virtual or in-person type of interview. Having that feedback just kind of helps you build preparedness for when it's time to really put that in action. Another tool in regards to practice is just self-motivation. So oftentimes there are people that use what I call I am statements. I am great. I am successful. I deserve. I am adequate. I can. Those type of things just kind of gets your mind pumped up and ready for doing things such as job interviews, especially if you may be interviewing for a position that you don't feel quite fully qualified for, or maybe you're working in a new job industry. Using those tools just kind of changes and shifts your mindset from the anxiety mindset to an excited mindset. And last but not least, recording and reviewing your interviews. If you have the tools to do so, I recommend doing just that so you can see your mannerisms, your actions, your words, and tweak those things to your liking in preparation for the real deal.